You're such an asshole.
Good afternoon, Mr. Clary. I would like to request my first ever video response. Please keep me anonymous. Love your books. Book of Numbers and Curse of High IQ are required reading for the younger men who follow your channel. Yes, they are. Bachelor Pad Economics. Guys, start with Bachelor Pad Economics. Just start there. It is good. As you're aware, I am a construction consultant. Let's do that. Given the recent animosity to insurance companies and please consider referring to my profession as a construction consultant or some other term as you may feel fit. My main financials are mid-40s, singles, no kids, not married. Did not start dating much until about 7 years ago. I'll be honest with you. So he sent some pictures. This is a regular guy of the show. He's been around for years. I'm like, guy's a good-looking dude. Problem is, you got too good of a smile. You got a beaming smile, man, and it says nice guy. I mean, it's just he's good looking, but man, I'm like, look at that smile. He's happy, and he's too nice of a guy. So if you could frown more and be pissed off, was it saying the pre-tax salary ranges between 70 to 185,000. That's a range. Last couple of years have been around last 15 median of $115,000. Where have all the good men gone? Oh, he's too nice looking. He smiles. Oh, look at that smile. It's too bright. It's too beaming. He doesn't deal drugs. Zero debt, paid off house, no home equity loans for backyard living areas, brah. 200,000 in mutual funds, 401k, 150,000 cash, bonds. It's a lot of cash. 50,000 in crypto, paid off vehicle. Precious metals. Not that was your question, but I mean, you kind of got everything nailed. You got property, you got mutual funds, S&P 500, traditional 401k. You got a lot of cash. You got a good amount in crypto. Any precious metals? Just something to consider. I can reply to your email estimate with the details of the pros and cons of my job, which can be stressful, but there are many upsides for which I am grateful in my future plans. But I do not want to borrow any money. This will be important for your response to the question in the subject line, not including here in order to keep it as brief as possible. Would like to slow down, though, at some point. I've been in this industry for 2 decades, with the last 15 being pretty good. First 5 were difficult due to being young and dealing with shitty boomer company owners. Oh, God, they're just lingering around. Like, get the fuck out of here. Could have used your knowledge about shitty boomer owners 20 years ago. I could have used my own advice 20 years ago. While navigating my first few years, I thought it was just my shit luck. I'm glad your current younger viewers have you as a resource to understand how common it is. Yeah, and more so Josh Fluke. I cannot recommend to you young people enough that you go tune into Josh Fluke. He really has exposed just what fucking mentally ill psychopaths and incompetent fuckwits lead corporate America. And that's not boomer, not even boomers. That's just, it's my generation now that's in charge. Feel free to charge more for elaborating on this for a longer view. Look forward to your estimate heading out for a hike now. Good day, sir. I said, so your question is whether you should slow down. And then he says, better question, can I slow down and still achieve my other goals? Goals, buy a rural house, have 10 plus acres. I estimate that in my area. Oh, God, why would you buy in that state? Why? Come on, man. Why? Have you not read? You said you read the 2 other books. You need to read Reconnaissance Man. With a 1,400 square foot in a rural area that I prefer will be between 400,000 and 600,000. Let's just call it 500,000. I'd like to retire, work part-time by my mid-50s, but not have to work. To quantify slowdown, I would define it as earning about 90,000, far less stressful than one of my 150,000 years. As you may know, I consider myself a minimalist, mostly because of my upbringing. Grew up a little poor. I could touch on that in the video. Eat fast, talk fast, work out. Yeah, because of minimalism, I don't need to make that much to support myself. Well, but 90,000 a year, you're going to be fine. All right, let's just stop right here and remove can I afford the thing in the $500,000 home in the rural shittest state America Dude, if you're working part-time, making 90 grand a year, and you could keep that up, till you're dead, let's just say till you're dead, you'll be fine. Right? You can live on 90 grand a year, right? Assuming it goes up with inflation. And even if you didn't work until you're 85 and dead, let's say you worked from, you're not withdrawing from your mutual funds, and those are going to grow, and you're going to have, and you want to work part-time starting at say 55. So you're going to work 20 years at 90,000 a year, not even touching the retirement assets you have now. I can almost guarantee you will have enough money to last you the 10 years, I estimate, of your life. You would be either too old to work, or like, no, I'm done working, even part-time. Like, you're just not working at all. The fact you're willing to work part-time and you think you can make 90 grand makes the rest of the analysis almost moot. To quantify, considered minor, because of the minimalism, I don't need to make that much to support myself. No boat or jet ski payments. Yeah, and you have no wife. I'm sorry, I don't say that to red pill, woman, am I right? No, the number one risk, which is divorce, it's gone. You don't have that. You don't have kids, so you don't have a wife and you don't have kids. So there's nothing to support except yourself, and there's zero chance, unless you're stupid in the future, that you're going to lose half your shit. As you may know, I can also elaborate pros and cons of my job, which is important, but I don't want to ramble too much. I said, give me the pros and cons. And he provides some. Look, he's all happy. He's a good-looking guy. I mean, could you get like a tattoo or a scar on your face and stop being so fucking happy, and maybe a girl will be attracted to you? What do you got to be happy about? You just got a lot of money and freedom. Pros. The owner of the company is a close associate. I heard you mention in a long video long ago that a good boss is worth something like 20 grand a year. I'd say it's worth a third of your salary. At minimum 20 grand a year, more like 50 or 30 grand a year. And my immediate supervisors know to leave me alone. So as long as I get my work accomplished. Work from home. I essentially have been doing my paperwork full-time from home for the past 15 years. Freedom. If I'm tired, I sleep in. If I get up early, then I work, not punching a clock is nice because I have the discipline to get the work done when it needs to be finished. Then head out for a hike or a bike ride. Are you going to give me the white girl blood? The cons. They want me to come into the office once every 6 months. The coffee store nearby isn't as good. What are the cons? You already have the perfect life. Right now, you have painted to me the perfect life. You got a lot of money in the bank. You have no debts. You make a little bit more than 6 figs on average. You work from home. You like your boss. You like your co-workers. I mean, unless they say they're mandating we get the herp or something in the cons. And otherwise, I fear your cons are going to be very paltry compared to these pros. They only fluff my right nut sack instead of my left too. The powder they use on my balls isn't fine enough. What are the cons going to be? Maybe that's noon some days. I also have no problem working late night and doing the 12 to 14 hours a day for a few weeks when I get busy. Yeah, that's how work should be done. Your job requires travel, and that travel brings you to other areas you can hike and adventure. Plus, I get to listen to many podcast, books, and YouTube videos and stop at different restaurants. Dude, yeah, that adventuring is, I love stopping in at dive bars. You know, I don't drink. I'll go get like a non-alcoholic beer or something. I do like that adventuring. I'll take that much road time over sitting in an awful office with a shitty boomer boss standing over your shoulder, making sure you're doing busy work. Cons. I've noticed that since about the disease, some people in my industry are more difficult to deal with. Therefore, closing some of my signs is a bit more difficult than it used to be. No big deal, more of a slight inconvenience. Okay, so everyone at work isn't perfect. Work volume. The volume of work in my industry fluctuates. However, I have mitigated this by having no debt and embracing minimal. Yeah, the range you sent there was impressive. Working from home is great, but sometimes it feels like you're on an island. Here it is. Here's the white girl blood. God, I wish I had it's in the Northern Command. I wish I had my violin. I could play my violin. Wait a minute. Well, okay, hang on. Now, maybe the audio is going to be fucked up on this. Let me see if I can find it. Where'd it go? All right, here we go. Let me read this again. I noticed that are more difficult to deal with. Therefore, closing some of my assignments is a bit more difficult than it used to be. Not too big of a deal, more of a slight inconvenience. Work volume. The volume of work in my industry fluctuates. However, I have mitigated this by having no debt and embracing minimalism. Working from home is great, but sometimes it feels like you're on an island. Dealing with the one-off problems that pop up occasionally can be annoying when you rarely speak to your bosses. Pretty minor, I know, but I wanted to come up with at least 3 cons. You had to struggle to come up with cons. That's a 4th con. Is that you had to come up with another con because you only have 3 microscopic dick cons. Sir, you are brave and amazing. I don't know how you do it. How do you get through day to day, sleeping in when you want, doing what you want, having coffee? You could probably even rent yourself some hewers to come in and satisfy you at noon. But Cappy, sometimes they're just cute blondes and not enough redheads. I know, man. I feel for you. This don't remember that shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. It's tough. Why would you give up this job ever? Why? You get paid. I got a buddy who's a salesman, and his region is the West, and he loves hiking. This guy just fucks off to Moab and St. George and Zion and the Cascades and Idaho. He just goes. And he does his job, but that doesn't take forever. Then he's hiking. He's giving me the finger on the internet. Like, you fucker. Those are your cons, huh? Daddy bought you the black convertible cabriolet, not the red one. Oh no, Bipsy. If I purchase a rural house, I could continue to do the paperwork from home and make as much as I want, at least $90,000 a year. Okay, so you can make that. You could just call it a leftist crap hole state if mentioned in the video. I live in that part and would like to purchase a rural dwelling, would be directly in the middle of this area. I mean, made to pay a little bit more for the land and houses. They need to be close to the interstate to get it. Dude, what do you have every right. How much longer ought I continue to work hard versus slowing down? Here's what I would do. You have, of all the clients I've had, I had to go down to the store and buy more green lights to give you more green lights. Of all the people that have the right to go buy a $500,000 piece of property and put your little bachelor hut on it, you're the guy. You have every right to do it. And what I would do is, what are your finances here again? So you'd liquidate your current home. Where'd the numbers go? The numbers are down here. So your retirement, you got a lot of cash. So if we took the full amount of cash, which we wouldn't, we'd leave a little bit for living expenses, 6 months living expenses. But let's just say, and you got crypto that you could liquidate if you wanted to. 150 cash. Let's just leave your crypto alone. Plus 225. 1, 2, 3. You roll that over into a house. Oh, I didn't do that right. 150 plus 225. 375. Let's say minus 500,000. So you need to finance 125,000. Dude, I don't even think you could find a traditional. I think it's still 100,000. When there was the great refinancing going on, banks wouldn't touch you if your loan was below 100,000 because it wasn't enough money for them to refinance. So I would not, to get a really good interest rate for 30-year fixed mortgage, you're almost going to have to keep it above 100,000. So you're looking at $125,000 of finance. Let's do a mortgage calculator. Okay. Mortgage calculator. Home price 125, 123, down payment 0. Term, what's the interest rate? I'll look up interest rates. Uh, 6.85. Let's go 6.85. 6.85. Computer. Your mortgage alone, this doesn't include property taxes or insurance or nothing, is $819. Oh wait, they're estimating. Yeah, so you're looking at 1,000. No, that's a different zip code. Let's err on the side of caution. Close this out. Let's err on the side of caution. Say everything is $1,100 a month. All right, $1,100 a month, dude. You could afford that all day long at $90,000. You got no kids. You got no wife. You got no debt. You're a minimalist. When you say 1,400 square foot, I know exactly what you're talking. You could even get by on less. The only reason I have 1,400 square foot is because when we did the math, I'm like, yeah, the woman needs her own office because I don't want her in my fucking office. We're not doing this shared open. Like, no, there's a fucking door. You close it. I don't go in there. There's my fucking door. I close it. You don't go in there. So 1,400 square feet is more than enough. I'll tell you this. I wish I had an even bigger garage. Boy, I like working in the garage. And I would want to have like a workspace where I could have even more tools and a lift. It's up to you, but I would definitely a minimum a 3-car garage, more like 4, and make it a tall ceiling so you could put a lift in there. That's just me. It's just me. But yeah, you got the bachelor hut. Go do it. Do it now. Go do a little bit of shopping. Find yourself your little piece of space and land out there. Build. Find a good builder. I'm sure you know some. And yeah, and you can slow down. Now, here's what I would do. I would not drop down to part-time work just yet. Because if you're building a house, there's going to be unsuspecting expenses and whatever else going. You don't know. It's a lot of variables going on. So I would keep working full-time. Also get past the part of furnishing your house. I don't know if your current house, if you got to furnish the way you want, you just would transfer 1 for 1. But if you got your new house, maybe like, and it's not even furniture. It's more like artwork. But, it's not that expensive, especially if you make it yourself. It's not that hard. But until you got your new house, like fully furnished, like, okay, we got the liquor cabinet. That's done. Okay, I got the new TV or whatever. It won't be a lot of expenses, but it's going to be some. Get it so the landscaping, that's a big one. I'd say get it so your landscaping is all done. Everything's drained away from your property. Whatever else it is that you got to keep working full time. And then when everything is done, which might be a 2 to 3 year process, then you could drop down to part-time. That's what I would do. And by that time, let's say 2 to 3 years out, you're getting kind of everything done and squared away. Interest rates may have gone lower, which at that point in time, you would refinance at your current full-time. Like, don't, In other words, keep an eye on interest rates. So let's say you finance at 6.85% today and you're full-time work, all right? You're qualified for that. Keep working full-time because it's possible interest rates drop down to 5 in 3 years. You've worked full-time, you paid cash for everything, the house is finally furnished, and now you got yourself a $110,000 mortgage or 100, maybe even 120 because amortization is slow in the beginning years. Oh, interest rates are 5? With your full-time salary, refinance one last time, lock it in for 30 years, lower that mortgage payment, done. Then you drop down part-time, your mortgage payment, I mean, you could maybe even pay some extra principal if you'd like to get the lowest mortgage payment possible. Let's say you knock it down to $900 a month. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. And then you could cry about the coffee store nearby not having the exact type of coffee you used to like or whatever else. Then you can max white girl blood or white girl blood max. All right, there we go. Doc Paradox, $2. Hey, Cappy, should I work less? Yes, you should, Doc. That's it. There you guys go. I'm glad to hear this story. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.